What's the best part about being Canadian? It really depends on what area of life you're talking about, because being Canadian improves almost everything. You get hurt? There might not be a better STE. What's the best part about being Canadian? It really depends on what area of life you're talking about, because being Canadian improves almost everything. You get hurt? There might not be a better stepping stone to your recovery than making sure you are a Canadian citizen with health care. When you think about Canada, one of the first stereotypes that come to mind may be that we are too nice. Is that a bad thing? Our stereotypes, whether it's apologizing or being friendly, can just seem like good manners that come second nature if you've been doing it all your life. Another stereotype is that we are accepting of other people and as a result hopefully make people feel encouraged to learn about our culture, while also expressing their own. If you love the outdoors, Canada is one of the most beautiful places in the world with countless monuments and areas to explore. So much so, that the top summer tourist destination according to National Geographic, in the entire world was to Muskoka, Ontario, which hosts the world's largest collection of lakes. Not to mention that some of the most influential people have been Canadian, looking at you, Terry Fox, and we hopefully have a future that is looking brighter than ever before. There are negatives to being Canadian, but there are negatives to being a part of any country. What helps make Canada unique is how all of these features come together to really make you feel blessed to be Canadian. No matter what you are looking for in a country, there is a place in Canada where you can probably find just what you're looking for. That fact, combined with some fantastic features that you really need to be Canadian to understand, help make up my list of the 10 best parts about being Canadian. Before we count down the list, a little bit about us. SART TV Top 10 World as 10 presents videos on world's top 10 events in all walks of life. Thank you for watching. If you like our video, please subscribe, like and share. Do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you get the notification of our all upcoming new videos as daily uploaded. Number 10, our Prime Minister. Whether you love or hate Trudeau, you at least need to be happy that the next potential leader of our country isn't Donald Trump. Canada is feeling pretty optimistic after the Liberal leader got elected to office, and while it is too soon to tell, it's nice to have a change from the Stephen Harper regime. While there are reasons to be concerned, Trudeau is doing his best to be open with his communication on what changes we can and cannot expect, and that's more than a lot of politicians are doing. Not to mention that Trudeau isn't too hard on the eyes. Number 9, hockey. Now the real unfortunate part is that while hockey is so inherently linked to Canada, we haven't won a Stanley Cup in far too long. Damn you, American teams and your bigger markets. That being said, the best hockey players in the world are clearly from Canada. Whether you want to go with the legends like Gretzky and Sakic, or keep it modern with Taves, Stamkos and countless others, there is no shortage of hockey talent. Not to mention hockey is easily one of the most entertaining sports around, especially in contrast to America's love of baseball, though, go Jays. Number 8, our stereotypes rock. What's so bad about being called a stereotypical Canadian? Are they saying you apologize too much? Do you use good manners to the point that it's infuriating? Sure, not every Canadian is like this, but you better believe that we have one of the better stereotypes around. As a result, one of the nicest parts of being Canadian is that when we go to other countries, we can actually tell them we're from Canada. It's a lot nicer when we know that the flag on our back is a sign of friendship, and not associated with the arrogant stereotype that is often linked to Americans. Number 7, legal marijuana. One of the biggest changes that will be coming to Canada in the next few years will be the legalization of recreational marijuana. The legalization of marijuana was one of Trudeau's stances that was talked about continuously throughout the election campaign. The general public's stance on the drug has been softened as of late, after seeing the success of states such as Colorado have had after legalizing the drug. This will also hopefully minimize the stigma towards the drug, and may lead to more people using it medicinally. Regardless of your stance on the drug, there is no doubt that this will be a monumental change to Canada in the next few years. Number 6, awesome, unique food items. Now I know every country has their own share of unique sweets and desserts, but that doesn't make Canada's any less cool. The top of the list has to be ketchup chips from Lay's, which you really need to experience to understand. They sound disgusting to some, I get it, ketchup and chips sounds unnatural, but once you've had a few, you'll realize it's as viable a reason as any other to stay in Canada. Plus chocolate Smarties are amazing, and don't even get me started on rocking some Timbits or a double-double from Timmy's on a cold December morning. I hear even maple syrup is hard to get in America. Sounds horrifying. That being said, I'm still not a huge fan of Molson Canadian. Number 5. Cleaner air. Don't you love being able to take a nice big breath of fresh, clean air on a summer morning? That might not be so easy if you live in a country that has awful air pollution. Thankfully, if you live in Canada, that is at the very least less of an issue. A study done in 2011 reported us as having the third cleanest air out of any other country. The biggest example of this can be found up in Whitehorse, which is the capital city of Yukon, Canada. Whitehorse has been verified by the Guinness Book of World Records as having the air with the least amount of air contamination on the planet. Number 4. Amazing outdoor sights. Canada is fortunate to be home to countless beautiful outdoor sights. When the weather starts to get a little bit hotter, there is no shortage of natural lakes to cool off in. A study done in 2013 reported that Canada had roughly 3 million lakes, a larger number than any other country. If you're looking for fresh water, 1/3 of the entire world's supply can be found in Ontario. If you live up near Nanaimo, BC, there is a place called Cathedral Grove which hosts hundreds of Douglas fir trees that are over 800 years old. Not to mention that after the success of the 2010 Olympics, the world is well aware of the fantastic outdoor sports that can be done in certain parts of the country. Number 3. We're clearly hilarious. When you look at the amount of hilarity that has come out of Canada, there is no doubting that we are a country that knows how to make people laugh. Currently, we have Seth Rogen and Jay Baruchel that are ripping it up in Hollywood while supporting Canada. Then we have other legends like Jim Carrey and Mike Myers, which helps prove that we used to be funny in the 90s too. If you want to go back to the 80s, then look no further than John Candy. Plus SNL is the brainchild of Lorne Michaels, who, you guessed it, also came from up north. I suppose when you are a country that has literally built its stereotype on apologizing, it doesn't hurt to also be able to make people laugh. Number 2. Health care. Just in case you aren't aware, health care is a pretty awesome thing. I don't know about you, but when I go to the doctor I like to worry about my health and not the insane hospital bills that are going to drag me down. For example, when a 20-year-old American went to get his appendix removed, a necessary procedure, the process ended up costing him over $55,029.31. A process that would not come even close to costing the same if done up in Canada. Come for the poutine, stay because the health care is there to help you recover after eating the poutine. Speaking of which, number 1. Poutine. Is there any food better than a poutine? You would know the answer to that if you were all about your Canadian pride. The answer is no, duh, and the reasons are countless. Sure, you could always do the traditional poutine with gravy, cheese curds and fries. Yet there are so many options. Throw some meat on there, some people throw an egg on there, whatever you can imagine. I am sure there is a poutine out there for you. It might be around in places other than Canada, but we all know that it's up here where the best poutine is found.